It's gotta be me. No way they can give petty people a fight. Everybody gonna laugh at them because I'm number one contender. I proved it again, and what do they want from me? And
Ilya Tuporia recently spoke candidly about his future and his next course of action with Spanish reporter Alvaro Culmanro. Ilya campaigned for the special catchweight championship once more. He wants to compete against Islam Makhachev for the belt, which would be the biggest super fight in the sport at the moment. He explained the belt in detail, explained why the UFC ought to establish it, and made it clear that he wants a big comeback match. Arman Sarukian, meanwhile, is completely unimpressed. El Matador's lack of action was criticized by the top lightweight competitor, who noted that Tuporia hasn't defended his lightweight belt since June. The Armenian thinks that until he gets that huge fight with Islam Makhachev, Ilya is attempting to pursue easy fights and high payouts and avoid legitimate competitors. Additionally, Sarukian issued a warning for whenever that altercation with Ilya takes place. His strategy is simple. He intends to use elbows to cut Tuporia up, rip his face open, and end the fight with a TKO. Arman thinks he has a significant advantage in the matchup. He believes he overwhelms Ilya at every stage. Additionally, El Matador wants to be the one facing him when he eventually returns to the cage. Okay, let's listen to what Ilya had to say. At a press conference, they asked Dana directly whether there was a chance I would fight in January. He replied that there was, but to be honest, I haven't heard anything from the UFC as of yet. They haven't mentioned any fights to me. I don't have anything planned. I'm still able to perceive things, and who I wish to fight also relies on me. In the end, both parties' interests must coincide, and we'll see what happens. I'm thinking about Paddy as the person I want to fight. The fight I really want is against Islam in the third weight class, so if they won't allow me to go up to welterweight to fight Islam, I want to fight Paddy. However, we'll see. There may be a date in the summer when they eventually allow me to advance and fight for the third title after I take one bout at lightweight. Alternatively, they may establish a brand new belt known as the pound-for-pound belt at a catchweight where we compete for the pound-for-pound title. As always, there are a lot of options, and we'll see what the future holds. This is how I would combat Islam. They would witness an extremely desperate Islam attempting to gain control and catch its breath, and they would witness my intense desire to put him to sleep, which I eventually succeeded in doing. Paddy Pimblett's ranking in the top 5 in the lightweight class caused Arman Sarukian to lose it. To be honest, you can't hold him responsible. The way Paddy's ascent unfolded is incredible. After defeating Michael Chandler and moving up to the top 10 at number 8, he continued to climb the rankings as the lightweight class reorganized without defeating any other competitors. Paddy Pimble is now ranked number 5 after one man lost, another transferred divisions, and a third became active. As all of this is going on, Arman, who has really persevered in this division, defeated elite competitors, and developed into a true lightweight threat, is observing it all. Arman is pursuing the title on his own after defeating Dan Hooker handily at UFC Qatar. However, this circumstance only serves to illustrate the realities of UFC matchmaking. The UFC doesn't always operate on merit, even though most of the fans believe Arman is a legitimate top lightweight who ought to be next in line. Hype can sometimes have a greater impact than real victories, and Paddy is currently the one who stands to gain the most from that. In his first title defense at 155, who do you think Tuporia should take on? Comment below.
It's gotta be me. No way they can give petty people a fight. Everybody gonna laugh at them because I'm number one contender. I proved it again, and what do they want from me? And I went there, performed, just destroyed Dan Hooker, and they wanna put the guy who is fake making rank.
Did you see he moved up to 5 now this morning? Did you see that?
Bro, how you can beat like a number 12 or number 13 and became number 5? I was beating everybody in our division. I beat like 5. I was on the 5 or 6 win streak to get in top 15, and like this guy just beat 6 people and like he's number 5.
Jon Jones and Khamzat Chimaev were seen playfully grappling in the streets in a recent video that went viral, but things quickly got out of control. Suddenly, Khamzat took Jones down with a takedown that was both startling and spectacular. This isn't just any takedown either. Jones, who has only given up 2 takedowns in the light heavyweight and heavyweight categories during his UFC career, is renowned for possessing an incredible takedown game. The video went viral, with some fans dismissing it as lighthearted sparring. However, Jon Jones himself jumped in on Twitter, stating that the takedown was as real as it gets and openly praising Chimaev's abilities. In the meantime, Greg Kalali of Sports Illustrated conducted an interview with Alex Pereira on YouTube. He called out Jon Jones, as was to be anticipated. He even gave the takedown incident a subliminal reference. Pereira also discussed the prospect of playing Khamzat Chimaev in the future, outlining the requirements for the Chechen to be given a chance. Now, let's start the video.
My interest in Jon Jones comes from who he is. He has done so much for the sport and is such a huge name. I am obviously still coming up, my name is getting bigger and bigger, and I think it's an interesting fight for everyone involved. You know, we have both shown our interests, so let's see how it goes. Maybe I can take him down too after seeing all this madness. Yeah, the fight with Chimaev is also on my watch list. I even made a little challenge to him. Look, it's not that I'm not interested in him, it's just that there are still a lot of fights in my division. There's also the option for me to go up to heavyweight. I think he needs to defend his belt first. You know, he would be my last option, but it's an option, yeah.
The MMA community is beginning to strongly favor Arman Tsarukyan as the next contender just weeks after rumors about Paddy and Justin Gaethje was circulating. Daniel Cormier concurs, describing Arman as Tapuya's most dangerous and worthy opponent. Tsarukyan didn't just rejoice in his victory over Hooker, he made it apparent that he was prepared for a quick turnaround. I'm injury-free, well-prepared, and even willing to train for 2 whole months in the United States. That makes him ideal for the early 2026 window, which is precisely when the UFC wants Tapuya to return to competition. The style of this fight is really captivating. Everyone is wondering how Ilya's wrestling will fare against Arman, an outstanding grappler with a full-fledged high-level MMA game. Although El Matador has demonstrated elite wrestling in previous matches, Arman's grappling might push him to the breaking point. However, it is quite difficult to see Tapuya losing any time in the foreseeable future, considering his present form and momentum. Post your analysis in the comments section below. What do you think will happen in this stylistic conflict? Let's hear what DC has to say now.
Hamlet has a bright future in fighting, but I believe that the 2 best lightweights in the world, if Islam Makhachev is now the welterweight champion, it's Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria, bro. And that's not even in question anymore. I thought that Paddy Pimblett getting in the octagon after Ilia won the belt, to me, was a little bit odd because I didn't feel like him beating Michael Chandler should have warranted him being in that spot. I thought that the biggest issue would be trying to do away with the images of Paddy in the cage with Ilia. But then when you watch Arman Tsarukyan last weekend, bro, he's big, he's strong, he can really wrestle, he can strike, he can do just about everything, and his top control is what's a real issue. That's the scary thought for anyone that are Ilia Topuria fans, because if there's anyone that could replicate that game of Makhachev, or at least to a degree, Arman Tsarukyan.
I appreciate you watching. Remember to subscribe and leave a like for daily MMA news.